Well, do you ever wonder how to help your kid pay attention and improve their executive functioning? Well, neurofeedback jacks up the brain to an Einstein level. Hi, I'm Dr. Roseann, and I'm a mental health trailblazer. And join me as we have real conversations about real solutions to kids' problems. And today, we're continuing our conversation about all things executive functioning and how to help your child get stuff done, be more organized, and improve their stress tolerance. Let's dive in. So you're like an executive functioning expert now. We've been diving into all things executive functioning. I hope that you literally are like, my mind is blown. I knew nothing about executive functioning. I thought my kid was lazy and unmotivated and couldn't get anything done and was going to live in my basement. And now I feel a lot better about it. And we're been talking about how to help your kid with executive functioning. And I think the biggest takeaway is always start with the end result, work backwards, teach the skills, okay? Have patience and persistence, focus on the micro steps. As we say in our brain behavior reset program, when we work one-on-one with people, we walk them up to the base camps, to the summit. You don't get to just jump through the base camps. It's not how life works, people. And the brain needs reinforcement. And no matter how smart your kid is, we've got to reinforce it. So what can we do to accelerate this process? How can we help our kids have better impulse control, more cognitive flexibility, stress tolerance? It's neurofeedback. Love me my neurofeedback. PMF is also very helpful, but neurofeedback is direct brainwave retraining. And so many of our kids with executive functioning have executive functioning and something else: ADHD, autism, mental health issue, anxiety, depression, OCD, PANS, PANDAS. And yes, we do have kids who just have executive functioning issues without any other issue, and it does happen. But what can we do to enhance the brain of these kids? And I work with all kinds of kids like this, and including just kids who are underperforming with really very intelligent, and we just want to get their brain online, the structures and the communication areas. And I do that with neurofeedback. So neurofeedback, go back and listen to those episodes. Neurofeedback is a way to safely and effectively, we know this through lots of research, 50 years of research, over thousands of research studies, 3,000 peer-reviewed studies, which are the Mac Daddy of research, and our peers have said that this is good research. What it does is it takes, in ADD, in executive functioning, we're going to have understimulated communication most of the time. So the brain isn't going to be performing to the level it should. And what it does is it makes an unfocused brain focused, right? Certainly executive functioning could be affected by a brain stuck in a REV state, a brain that is very anxious, OCD's going on, panic attacks going on, pain, absolutely. But in general, what you tend to see is the brain's communication areas are underperforming. They are what I like to call Waze brains, because they don't use the highway. Waze sends them off to go on the back roads. They're just not as efficient brains with attention and executive functioning issues for a variety of reasons. But it could be genetics, it could be birth trauma, it could be stress. There's so many reasons. Poor diet. I mean, most kids are eating like garbage, people. People will say to me like, "Oh yeah, I feed my kid well. He has broccoli." Is that it? Is that the only vegetable? Because we're in trouble. We need a lot of nutrients. So we have to power up the brain, and neurofeedback is a way to get the brain working more smoothly. I like to say that it balances the wheels of a car, and it makes everything go from dysregulation, under or overstimulation, and it gets it to work properly. And just like when you balance your car, you're like, wow, my car is riding like it's brand new. It's the same thing. You're going to see more alertness. You're going to see calmer behavior. You're going to see a lot less stressed kid because they can see end results, they can see solutions. And with kids with executive functioning, that lack of ability to see end results isn't just academic, it's managing problems and being able to say, okay, I've got a problem. This is what I need to do about it. And that is how we help the person who's struggling of all ages with executive functioning, is we certainly help mitigate stress. And neurofeedback just does that for everybody. It's, the moment I did it, I was like, wow, this is pretty amazing. How quick can I get my equipment? But so for somebody with executive functioning, it's going to help them to be more alert. It's going to help them to process quicker, more efficiently. And we, again, processing is a broad width of things, right? So there's a depth to that. It could be working memory, right? You can go in and train right in the working memory areas. You can struggle with that. So you need to work all the time on remembering and manipulating information. It could be weaknesses in our short-term memory. It could be stress management part of the brain could be really struggling. So what neurofeedback does is help to regulate both the structures, right, to make the frontal lobes, that's exactly where attention and executive functioning is in different regions, to make them work with the way they're supposed to in a healthy way. And how does neurofeedback work? So really simply, we start with a brain check if you're fully remote, which we work with people all over the world, or a QEEG if you're willing to come in, travel, and do that. Both are data points. And we analyze the data. I personally create care plans for people that include not just neurofeedback, but a lot of things. And once we do that, we do neurofeedback sessions. You're hooked up to a computer. The computer, nothing comes through the wires. It's just measuring and providing reinforcement. The moment you're hooked up, the brain says, oh, if I produce this exact perfect healthy combination of brainwaves, which it will, and within 2 to 3 seconds, I get reinforced. And what we use is EEG neurofeedback, which is the Mac Daddy of neurofeedback, because you can directly manipulate specific areas in the brain and control it at a very high level. And when that happens, the brain gets reinforced. It produces this healthy combination, and neurotransmitters start producing. You actually have a bunch of action potentials, cascade of all these neurotransmitters. It's pretty incredible. I mean, you can even change the gray matter in the brain with neurofeedback. So neurofeedback is not one session, it's not 2 sessions, it's typically 40 sessions, 2 to 3 times a week, because like working out, we have to build the muscle. And in the case of attention and executive functioning, it's different for every other symptom or clinical issue. We are working to get the brain more alert, to be able to have impulse control, maybe have a better working memory. It really depends on where people's unique struggles and gifts are. And you reinforce that brain, and the feedback is a movie playing or not playing. There's different sounds. This is what happens with EEG neurofeedback. It's very pleasant, very effective. Kids of all ages. I have kids as young as 3.5. I have 80-something-year-olds, which is so cool. They're usually here for pain or Lyme disease, but we reinforce the brain for producing that healthy combination of brain waves. It's an awesome, awesome tool that's safe, effective. It's never going to harm your kid. And there are people all over the world. You can go back and listen to the episode about how to find a provider, or you can apply to work with us at drroseann.com/apply. So I hope you're all super excited about the changes that lie ahead of you, and that you have the power. Don't you hear that 90s song, I Got the Power? You got the power to change your kid and your family and improve executive functioning. You got to teach skills. And if you really want to ramp up their success, consider neurofeedback.